Hey, all right. Today we have a special guest in the house, Liz Wilcox, also known as the Fresh Princess of Email Marketing. Oh, an email strategist and showing us how to turn our magic into emails. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm Karen Laws, the interior dog trainer and host of the Paws and Profits podcast, where we help you unleash your inner entrepreneur to fuel your passion. So let's dive in to the podcast. Welcome, Liz.
Hi, friends. I am so excited to talk about email today. I know those don't often go hand in hand, but hopefully by the end, I will have you, a raving fan of email and super excited to hit that send button.
I would love to be a raving fan of email because, to be honest with you, it is the bane of my existence. I just email in digital email has replaced the junk mail in our old physical mailboxes. How can people deal with that to start with? Never mind getting in touch with their customers. I mean, they just bombarded every dog trainer, every small business owner wants to learn as much as they can. They sign up to every newsletter, and then what happens? Ooh, overloaded.
Right. So I always say, like, you don't hate email, you just hate email that's bad. You hate bad email. We hate the spam, right? We hate when we sign up for a newsletter and someone starts emailing us daily and we didn't know that that was the expectation, right? When we buy a product and suddenly they're emailing us every other day, with an upsell. And so it's all about when you get someone on your email list to just properly set expectations, to say right off the bat, hey, I'm going to email you once a week. I'm going to email you once a month. I'm going to email you sporadically, because I got other things to do. Whatever is the truth, just make sure you say that up front. And some people call it a nurture sequence. Some people call it a welcome sequence. Just make sure that when someone joins your list, and this is especially pretty simple for dog trainers and, pet entrepreneurs, you can just have, one, two, maybe three emails that say, hey, welcome to the list. Here's where I'm going to share, my availability, a couple tips, et cetera. And then talk about when you're going to email them. I'm going to email you every Tuesday. I'm going to email you on the 1st and the 15th of each month. I'm going to email you again sporadically because I got other things to do. Right. And so just so that they know what is coming, because chances are there are some emails you like, right? I know Liz emails me a tip every week. I'm really interested in traveling to Portugal. I signed up for that newsletter and I love, the pictures they send me, every week or so. It just reminds me of that's the dream that I have, right? So there are some newsletters we sign up for, we get really into, and that is the goal of what we're trying to do. And we can do that just as simply as setting expectations when they first come on the email list.
So setting those expectations early is, and so I think that's brilliant, but the setting the expectations, how does one set them realistically and understand what, I think consistency would be important. Would that be one of the traits that people want to know when they're setting up an email quote campaign?
Yeah. So as far as consistency goes, take it back to what I said. What's realistic for you, and just tell them that you can always change what you're saying, right? If you say, oh, I'm going to email once a month, and then you realize, oh, I really like email and I'm seeing results, I'm going to go to twice a month. Just go back to that first campaign, that first nurture or welcome sequence, and just change the expectations. Also sending out a newsletter, which is just a very you wrote it today, you kind of send it today type of email. You could say, hey, I'm thinking of emailing more, just wanted to let you know I've got a lot of things coming up. I've got a lot of availability. Maybe you're doing a special holiday promotion or, a Christmas in July sale. Just telling people, hey, the frequency is about to change is usually enough. Of course, some people, we can't please everyone. Some people might unsubscribe, but that's actually a good thing because they're probably never going to book you anyway. And
Mhm.
so it's that way of, cleaning out the old Rolodex.
Right. That makes sense. And it sounds from what you're saying, I know sometimes I find emails intimidating. You sit down, you try to write this sequence or this campaign or this, these nurturing sequence or welcoming. But it sounds to me like what you're saying is if you're just picturing someone in front of you that you're having a conversation with and a regular,
Absolutely.
would that,
What I love about email and why I believe that it comes so simply to me is that I just realize I'm just a human writing to another human. We have a mutual interest. I started off as an RV travel blogger. And so, I was writing to people that, loved RV travel. You're writing to people that love their pets, right? And you want to help them have a happy home with their pet, right? And so when you realize I'm not trying to write a campaign. I'm not trying to, get it all right and segment and tag and all these complicated email strategies. I'm just a human writing to another human. And we have this mutual interest. We have this mutual vision of, our pet not only being like a happy addition to our home, but a happy and healthy addition to our home for all parties involved. When you come at it from that angle, it actually becomes a little simpler to write emails. It's like, oh, I'm just letting them know I have 2 bookings available this quarter. I'm just letting them know I found this awesome YouTube video. I hate creating YouTube videos, so I found this one this other guy made for you, right? And it's just that human to human connection that, takes the pressure off of email and actually gets people to open, gets people to think the opposite of what Karen said. Oh, that's the bane of my existence, right? It's, oh, that's Karen. Oh, she loves dogs just as much as I do. Let me see what she's got to say this week.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and that I guess that sort of applies to whether it's dog training, dog pet ownership, or it's any small business. You look for that mutual interest and common vision, and then share what you have. So there's sort of like a template around that. But talking about opening rates, I know one of the I got a son there. One of the metrics that I have, I mean, I guess everyone has them, is opening rates. And sometimes it can be disappointing and a challenge when I'm a fact-based person. So if I'm going to talk to somebody about, here's how you walk your dog, or here's what not to do, I might just put that fact in the subject line. Are there any sort of catchy, or what's your advice on creating catchy subject lines or hooks or something that makes them want to open it? In other words, not just like they might see if I tend to see myself as dry and rather fact-based. So they might see my name and go, oh, I'll get back to her again. I'll get back to that later. I know it's going to be good stuff, but it's not grabbing me right now. How do you grab their attention and make them want to open it?
Yeah, so there's 2 parts. Let's talk about the subject line that Karen just brought up. So with the subject line, remember, we're just a human writing to a human. We're not writing for an algorithm. We're writing to our reader. We're not writing for Google, right? We don't have to worry about SEO or anything. So just write like a friend to a friend. So Karen says, oh, I'm very pragmatic, to the point. Then your subject lines, should be that way. If Karen is just writing to Liz, what would she say, right? Saw this YouTube video and thought of you, or, have you seen this yet? Or, 3 tips I want you to have today, right? Just really, really simple, but thinking about it from, if I was just writing Liz today, I write the newsletter. So write the email first, and I'm using newsletter and email kind of synonymously here. So write your newsletter first, and then write the subject line, write if I was just sending this to the person I know that's going to buy, I know is going to refer me, what would that subject line be? And put it there. And, Karen and Liz and you are all different people. So we might have all different subject lines, but we're going to attract the right people. And the thing about getting clients, especially, is they, they really need to know, like, and trust us, right? Especially if they're going to hand over, their family member to you to train, to help get better and have a more like beautiful home life, then they really have to trust you. They really have to like you. And the people that are going to sign up for Karen services might not be the same people that are going to sign up for Liz's services, right? We're two very different people. So don't be afraid to just be yourself. We've all done that, right? Where we booked a client, we knew it wasn't the right fit, and we knew, but we wanted the money. So don't write your subject lines from that, point of desperation of, oh, I want to get that maximum amount of people to open this. It's how can I get the right person to open this? And how can I just lean into myself so that people just know off the bat before they hand me money, hey, my name's Karen and I have a pragmatic approach to dog training and life. Here I am, right? That's going to attract the right people where, if you even just Googled Liz Will, it would be like, whoa, I'm a very loud person. I'm, sometimes a little brazen. I've been told aggressive. But I am like Karen. I'm a very tactical and strategic thinker. And I think that comes off in my subject lines as well. But in short, just write, to a friend, to that ideal customer. Because chances are, you might be looking for Karen, but there's probably a dozen Karens on your email list. So don't be afraid to just write to that one person, because chances are, there's more than that person on your list.
I like that. I like that thought. I hear it over and over again about be authentic, particularly in a world like today where we have AI and so many things that your eyes see that your mind can't really believe because we don't know if it's genuine or not. So authenticity seems to be, a continuous quality or trait that needs to echo through all of our communication and everything that we need. So when you're talking about, be yourself, and people, let's say someone who's just getting started, who because dog trainers love to train dogs, they don't necessarily like to do the back office part, the emails and the correspondence and the communications, unless they're in person. And sometimes the digital world can be a little bit challenging. So one of the things I hear a lot about lately is, what's your story? And what do you think about, there's story, all kinds of things out there, but you need to tell your story. What's your thought on that around storytelling, and how do we weave that into emails, or should we even do that at all?
Yeah, so I'm a little anti-story. I mean, the copywriters and the marketers you hear talking about storytelling, yes, they're absolutely right. Stories connect us. But remember, like, it's just an email. It's a newsletter, not a novel. Chances are, if you don't have time to write it, your person doesn't have time to read it. We've all been on those email lists where the person is just going on, and you're like, what if you just gave me the link so I could decide for myself if I want this? You don't have to necessarily pull on my heartstrings here. Like, I'm already half sold. Why are you trying so hard? This isn't, a Super Bowl commercial trying to get me to cry. And so with the newsletters and with, online correspondence, again, like, just be a human writing to another human. And if the fact is that, you're not a writer, you could even say that in your emails, especially the first few, like, I'm not a big writer. I'm not going to tell you a bunch of stories. I just love dogs and I love training dogs. Hopefully you're in need of a dog trainer, and I'm going to send you a few emails, every month to see if we are the right fit. Just being very upfront. I find people really respect that, right? It's like, oh, finally, someone that got to the point and just told me the truth, especially dog trainers and, pet entrepreneurs. Like, we don't need these big, long story, we're not trying to help someone with this giant transformation. And, we're not trying to get them out of their trauma. We're not trying to get them to reunite with their parents.
Some of them we are.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
right.
It can be traumatic when you have, a dog that you love that, is destroying your furniture, et cetera, or whatever the issue is. But even just saying that, I love bullet points in my emails. I don't like
Mhm.
to tell stories because I don't have time for that. Like I've got a million and other things to work on. And so I just say,
Mhm.
if if your dog did this, that, and the other, I might be the one for you. You know, click here for the link. Like I love bullet points versus, this giant storytelling. And the last thing I'll say about that is when you do have a story to share, definitely share it. Maybe you had a really rough session, with a dog that things have been going well, and suddenly it felt like they regressed to day one, and you had to cut the session short, and here's the lesson from that, right? So when
Mhm.
you do have a story to tell, definitely share it. But if you try to do that every single time, if you try to force it, I love what Karen said about, it's hard for the brains to believe everything we see because everything is becoming so artificial. Just like a dog, senses fear, or when a person just isn't, we all know that guy that came into our house and the dog didn't like them, and you thought, they're not coming to Thanksgiving. The our readers will understand that. So when you have a story, tell the story. And the other times, just get into the inbox, get to the point, and get out of there. People will really respect that.
Mhm. That no like and trust factor applies to dogs as well as people.
Amen.
I like
Yeah,
what
yeah.
Yeah, listen, and there's an adage that says, "Listen to the dog will tell you." And I love what you said about be upfront and be authentic, because so many times and I see it in many emails. We try to say things just to say things, just to be heard or just to hear our voice or something, rather than just getting in there. And some people find that, "Oh, that's too direct for me." Well, how would you like me to sugarcoat it? So it's so refreshing to hear someone with your skill to say, not only just be you, but be to the point. If that's who you are, being to the point. I find that same with social media posts. Some of them, from certain individuals, you see their name, you go, "Oh, I want to see what they have to say." And then, but at first I'm going to check the length. And then you see it just goes on and on and on. And you just say, I'll go back to it. And you never do. So that's such a good point. Um, what else should we know about emails? Like so what you're talking about that is you got a good system laid out here. How much time is that going to take me?
Yeah. So
How much should I commit to it?
I always say, if it takes longer than 20 minutes, you need to reevaluate your strategy.
Hmm.
So with the email newsletters themselves, and well, actually let me back up. So I want you to get like a very I don't know, bird's eye view of email, especially for your type of business. Number one, you just need a welcome sequence. Again, like 1, 2, maybe 3 emails that kind of show off, like, hey, I'm this type of person. This is kind of my dog training philosophy. And this is how many times I'm going to email you, per month, right? So that's the welcome sequence. You're welcoming them in, you're setting expectations. And then we have the newsletters, which Karen and I have been talking about. We're going to talk about the length of those and how much time it should take. And then there's sales emails, and you want to sprinkle
Hmm.
those in to your newsletter. So I kind of think of it as, like the welcome sequence is that bottom layer of the cake. The newsletters is that main middle layer, and the sales emails is that top layer, or it's the sprinkles all over the dang thing. So depending on your personality. So when we're talking about the newsletters, remember, we've already welcomed these people in, so they kind of know, like, oh, that's Karen. She trains dogs. She's going to help me XYZ, right? And then with the
Hmm.
newsletters, every week, every month, whatever feels comfortable to you right now, you
Okay.
just want to, again, get in, get to the point, and get out of there. And so, what
Hmm.
is the point of your newsletter? Is it to just gain trust, right? Like, I'm not ready to sell yet. I don't have any bookings available. I'm moving to this new town. And so I just want to, gain some trust and some authority. I'm going to send out some content, whether you created it or you found it online, to get them thinking about, how to train their dog, right? And so Another part might be, hey, I've got these bookings available. I've got 2 spots. I've got 3 spots. I'm going to do a holiday sale. That's coming next month, right? Again, setting expectations. And so
Yeah.
with that, again, you don't have to tell this long story. You don't have to go into every single detail. And so it could take you just about 20 minutes. Just have a greeting, right? Hey, Liz,
Mhm.
have a little bit of a personal update that helps keep you, the human you are. I just got done with 3 training sessions. Wow, I usually never book that many in a day. But I'm trying to be accommodating with the holidays coming up.
Mhm.
Suddenly saying something like that, that's like 1, 2 sentences. It shows, hey, I've got bookings on the calendar, right? I've got clients. That establishes a little bit of authority and expertise. And then it shows you, hey, this person is accommodating. They normally don't do that, but they wanted to get it in before their clients were traveling. Oh, wow. That's somebody I might want to work with, right? And we just say that. That's called the personal update. Just give a short, 1, 2, maybe 3 sentence update about something that you've done since the last time you emailed them.
Mm.
And so you can go with what I said, like make it all about, your work, or you can vary it. You could say, I took my kids to the movies last week. Have you seen that new movie Trolls?
Mhm.
Anyway, and then this is where you segue, right? And that has nothing to do, the movie has nothing to do with anything, but suddenly they know you've got kids. They're thinking about the movie Trolls. Maybe they saw it also. They're relating to you, right?
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
personal update is important, but again, you don't have to tell a story. It can be 1 or 2 sentences long. And then you segue. Now, if you're not a writer, you're like, oh my gosh, segues. This is what got me in trouble in 10th grade English class. Oh no, Liz, you lost me. I
Right.
just want you to use that caps lock button on your keyboard. And I want you to write anyway, dot, dot, dot. What I really need to share with you today, what I really want to talk about today is, and that's where you put in the content. That's where you get to the point, right? That's where you say, I've got 2 openings. There's going to be a holiday sale coming up next week. I'm going to email you more frequently because I know it's a busy time of year. Don't feel like you need to open every email, but I just want to make sure you stay updated on how many openings I have as we get into the summer season. Something like that, whatever the content is. I found this on YouTube and I thought of you. I saw this terrible Instagram reel. I want you to know that this is not good information. If you've seen it,
Ah.
here's what
Mhm.
I don't like about it, right? Whatever you're getting into
Okay.
that day, it can be longer, like, dissecting a video you saw, or it can be short, like, hey, I'm going on holiday vacation. I'm not going to email you for 3 weeks.
Mm.
Goodbye. Have a great week. I'll have openings available starting in January, right? Whatever you need to talk about that week, that month, whatever. So again, that's just, greet them, a short personal update that makes you relatable or establishes a little bit of expertise by talking about what you've done inside your business, and then segue into the content. And again, you can keep that really short. If you're not a good writer, I find people often think like, oh, Liz is an amazing writer. I'm like, I just get to the point. And like, so people who quote unquote feel like they're not good writers, if you get to the point,
Mhm.
it's everyone will be like, whoa, this person's an excellent writer, but it's really, you just got to the
Mhm.
point like you would, in a quick conversation. So thinking of your emails as just a quick conversation, a quick touch point, is going to be really, really valuable. And yes, with enough practice, I do believe you can get this done in 20 minutes.
Each 20 minutes per email. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, 20
Yeah.
minutes per email. And
Yeah.
I send out, just real quick, I do a weekly newsletter. Maybe you're going to start out monthly because that's just what you have time for right now. I just, I sit down Tuesday afternoon. I hit send Tuesday afternoon. I'm not a big batcher. Some people are. If that's in your personality, go for it. But I
Mm.
just, I have my welcome sequence that's on automation, right? That gets sent out
Mm.
to anybody who enters the email list. And
Mhm.
then just every Tuesday, I send out that newsletter.
Okay. And you write them fresh every Tuesday. So on the
I sure
topic.
do.
Because I hear that brings me to another point, and it's a personality style thing. Some people overthink. Do you? I mean, we have spell check and we have Grammarly. We have all those things that can check those things. But how much more detailed than that do you get to proof it, check it, whatever? I find if I sleep on it and I come back the next day, I might rewrite the thing, and all of a sudden, it's 2 weeks later, and I'm still rewriting it. How do we overcome that?
Yeah, I love that Karen just brought that up. Just hit send. Just be brave for 5 seconds. The same thing you might tell a client who's struggling to reinforce the rules, quote unquote, with their dog at home. And, what do you say to that client about, hey, you don't want to lose all this progress. You're paying me all this money, but I can't live in the home with you. So you've got to pull your end of the weight, right? Your email list, they want to hear from you. They consented to hear from you, right? They checked the box, they put in their email address, they gave you your email at a vendor show, whatever, right? So just knowing that they gave you permission and they want to hear from you, hopefully that will help you hit send. And also, always think about it as, I'm not trying to sell. I'm not trying to, pull one over on these people. I want to serve them. I want them to have the best relationship with their pet as possible. And so I need to send this email in order to get the word out, right? Either to get the word out that I saw this Instagram post and it was a disaster, or I have 2 bookings because maybe somebody is ready to book me, right? And so coming at it with, thinking less about yourself of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to look like an idiot. Did I spell that wrong? Oh, I'm going to sleep on it and rewrite it tomorrow. Just thinking about the client first also might help you hit send. When I hit send, when I'm nervous, especially a sales email, I'm like, okay, but I actually want to help people. So in order to help people, I have to hit send. I can't procrastinate. And yes, it will be scary at first. You might shake, hit send, and then I say, go for a walk. Take your dog out, plan it so that the dog needs to go for a walk right after. So you can't just sit there and, hit refresh on the statistics. But yeah, just thinking about your people, thinking about the pets you're going to help and the families you're going to help. Hopefully that will get you out of that procrastination, that perfectionism, and into just hitting send.
That's a good point. One of the things that I know I do, and many other small business owners as well as dog trainers do, especially, they'll do a lot of short videos, video clips, video with training tips, or sometimes they'll tell a story. And I'm just, as you're saying that, I'm thinking, how valuable is video in these emails or newsletters? And is it, if I wrote the email that basically was the same as the video, is that cool? Or should the email topic be, oh, and if you want to know more, hit the video, or can they be one in the same send?
Yeah, so in the inbox, you want to be familiar but not predictable. So you could do all those things Karen said, right? We want to know, oh, I know Karen, I know Liz, but not predictable in that, oh, I know what's inside, I'll save that for later, right? So you could try all those methods. You
Okay.
could try, an email, hey, Karen here, I made a video, click here to check it out. And then, a month later, hey, Karen here, I made a video, here it is. And then on the bottom, if you're more of a reader, here's the gist. And then you type out kind of what you taught in the video, right? You could do all sorts of things. I tend to do all sorts of things with my videos. And I do recommend video for email if that's something you're already doing. It breaks up the pattern a little bit, right? It's like, oh, this is a video and not just this huge wall of text, right? Yeah, I'll click on that. But when you make a video, always tell people in the email how long the video is. And so they know that's going to help you get people to actually click. This is a quick 2-minute video, or this is a longer video, but if you only have a little bit of time, skip to the 7-minute mark, right? You're giving them a task. I mean, you guys work with dogs. You all know you have to be very clear and very precise with dogs, right? You can't just, oh, go get the toy and there's 10 toys there. They're going to look at you like, okay, but what? Right? Like, which one, lady? And so it's the
Right.
same with email. Click this video, tell them why you want that. I made this if you need XYZ, right? Skip to the 2 minute part or 2 minute mark if you need, blue, blah, blah, right? Like being very clear and telling them exactly what to do is going to get you those clicks, no matter, if you just send the video, you do video and email, you do a lot of email with the video at the bottom, just being clear and concise. And I mean, I hate to compare it to the dog, but yeah, like if the dog knows exactly what to do, they want to do it and they will do it, right? And so it's the same with your subscribers, and it's a level of respect, right? Um, this person is not wasting my time. This person told me exactly where I need to go for this. And then they might say, oh, well, I don't need to skip to the 7 minute mark. I'm actually procrastinating real work. So I'll watch the whole thing, right? I'll watch all 10 minutes. So you never know what behavior they'll do. But when you tell them clear instructions, I think that's the key with getting people to click on your videos within the email.
I love that, because I think too many times we make assumptions that they see the video there, they're just going to click on it. Or if it says, or we just say, just click here to watch the video without giving them the details on what it is. And I'd never really thought of it as respect for not wasting their time. I in fact was the opposite. I thought if I just let them see the video there, I respect that they're going to be that they're going to have enough thought process to click on it. And that's not the case, mostly because people are busy and they're thinking about something else when they look at your email. So I love that tip, is that it's respecting their time by telling them exactly what to do. And you're right. When we're dealing with dogs and people, we tell them exactly what to do so the dog can grasp it. So it's exactly the same comparison. I love that.
Yeah, so that brings up, can I interrupt? That brings up like I just have a really good idea I think it's a good idea for a video that you could make when you're trying to get bookings. I do a lot of behind the scenes when I'm selling. I send out a video and the subject line is something like, I made a video for you. Or I even put their name in the subject line, I made a video for you, Liz. And within the video itself, it's like just saying, hey, I know you're interested in booking. I know you're interested in purchasing, whatever the case is. I just wanted to let you know what happens if and when you do decide to purchase, and then just walk them through that process. Of course, for you, like maybe you have, you take clients and their pets at your home. So maybe it's a video like, hey, this is where your pet will be, or maybe you meet at a park. So you tell them, hey, we always meet at this park at these times. These are the people I'm looking for. This is what the first call will go on. This is what the first meeting of your pet will, this will look like, etc. And that kind of takes it takes all those objections of like, well, I don't really know what this is, or I don't really know what this looks like. And you just walk them through. I imagine the video being 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. And this is something you could do after you've sent out, your booking link or your, sales call link, and they didn't actually book, or they didn't actually, book the call to talk to you. And you can track that within your system. You can see who clicked, and then you can compare it to who you actually talked to, right? And you can say, okay, I'm going to send out an email to Diana, Liz, and Karen, right? And I'm going to make them a video. It's going to be really quick. And you can say something like, hey, I think you might be interested, but you might not know what it looked like. So I just wanted to send you this quick video to let you know how it works once you book. And then just go through those details we just talked about. I just wanted to give that little idea, because they're really fun to do, and they're super helpful.
And at the same time, it gives people an impression or a peek into your facility, like you say, behind the scenes peek into your facility and what you're doing. I love that. I've never thought about that before. I love it. instead, because inevitably what happens when they're really interested is they'll phone, and then you spend a half an hour on the phone going through the process with them, and maybe, you know, stepping outside and say, well, you know, here's my property. So that's would address all that. That's brilliant. I love it. That's brilliant. What else should we know? You've got lots of hidden gems there. What other
Yeah, I mean,
gems do you have to share?
you could also put that video in your welcome sequence, right? You
Mhm.
could, and then you repurpose it later for people that clicked but didn't, you know, book.
Right.
So you could say, hey, you know, I'm a dog trainer, just being upfront. Of course, I'd love to work with you and your pet one day if we're the right fit. Just want to give you a quick tour of the facility and what it looks like when you book with me, right?
Mm,
You know, here's my facility, you know, here's the link to book. Here's what we're going to go over. Here's what I want to know about your pet. You know, just putting that in the welcome sequence, again, like up front, right? If people are never going to purchase from you, we should know that from the very beginning, right? And they should be able to make that
right.
decision of, oh, I
Yeah.
love that facility, or,
Yeah.
oh, wow, this person's going above and beyond. I bet that's how they work with their clients, right?
Mhm.
Showing, even before we hit record, Karen showed me her dog Prince, right? And so, you know, even stuff like that in the welcome, here's my pets, right?
Mhm.
Or,
Mhm.
you know, here's the dogs that, you know, are currently with me.
Right.
Things like that, sharing in the welcome sequence, not only make you relatable, everybody loves to share pictures of their pets, right? But it
Mhm.
establishes you as an authority
I
right
like that.
off the bat.
Yeah, I like that. And my pets are on the payroll, so they would have to be part of it because they participate in everything that we do.
We
Yep.
love that.
Yeah. 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 Brilliant. That's a brilliant marketing strategy, as well as nurturing, you know, like you say, engaging them and bring them in. That's another thing I've struggled with. I love that. What else? Got to be more. How else? Well, let me put it this way. We're running out of time here. How we could probably chit chat all day long and pick at different things that we could do. Let's try this and let's do that. But how can people connect with you to find out for themselves just how much they can learn from you and how you can help them grow their businesses?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Of course, I'm an email marketer. I'd love for you to join my email list. You can go directly to lizwilcox.com. In the top right-hand corner, there is a hot pink button and it says free emails. So you can get, remember we talked about that welcome sequence? I've already written one for you in case you can't really conceptualize what it looks like. I've written it for you. So I've got 4 email templates for the welcome sequence. I told you you only need like 2 or 3. So you can even, you know, mix and match those. You can email me to see my take on things. You're also going to get 3 newsletter samples. We talked a lot about newsletters. And so those are pulled directly from my $9 a month membership, but they're there to show you how to get people to click, how to get people to reply, and how to get people to buy directly from your newsletter. And if that's not enough, we also talked about subject lines. And I know, again, those can be really hard to think of. So I'm giving you 52 subject lines all for free. So it's that welcome sequence, newsletter templates, and subject lines all for free. LizWilcox.com, hot pink button. You can't miss it.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. So I encourage everybody that's listening to this podcast, please hop on over to lizwilcox.com and grab those freebies because it will help you grow your business exponentially. Well, thanks again, Liz. It's been such a pleasure. And I look forward to having you back on the show at some time in the future. And maybe we can even talk about RV travels because that sounds like fun too.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you, Karen. I
All right.
can't wait to see what everybody does with email.
Absolutely. I look forward to it as well. Have a great day and thanks for joining us.